Democrats don't care about violence and crime that's going on inside of these major cities. They only care about getting funding to help fund them and their families and make sure they can do the things that they want to do. If you look at Chicago, they're over $1 billion in debt.
Scott, the city is grappling with a $1.1 billion budget shortfall.
And the only reason they don't want Trump to send the National Guard into the city is because they want to get $8 million for funding for crime prevention programs that they already have. And the thing about it is they're not going to use the funding to prevent crime. They're just going to use the funding to try to help get the city out of debt. And the reason they're over $1 billion in debt right now is because they spent all of the money taking care of illegal migrants.
More than 6,000 people still live in city-run migrant shelters. That means costs are still adding up. Nearly $253 million went to one private company, Kansas-based Favorite Healthcare Staffing, which staffs the shelters. Another $76 million went to Equitable Social Solutions.
So now instead of sending in the National Guard to help clean up these neighborhoods, they just want to be funded so they could use the fundings to get the city out of debt. So now they're lying saying that the city is safe when they know it's not. And they don't care because they don't live in these neighborhoods and they don't have to deal with the everyday violence that goes on in these neighborhoods. Meanwhile, the mayor of Chicago is riding around with 150 police detail to make sure him and his family and friends are safe whenever he's in the city.
If you truly believe that Chicago is the safest city, and unlike people around the country who are saying that Chicago is the mass shooting capital of the country now,
just to follow up.
Would you and your wife Stacy be willing to cut your security detail from 150 sworn police officers and put those police officers back on the street where they can protect real Chicagoans?
So we're very proud of the work that we're doing collectively to ensure that our police officers have the resources that they need. As I've said repeatedly, it's policing and affordable housing, it's policing and youth employment, it's policing and mental and behavioral health care.
You see how he never answered the question that the guy asked him? The real reason they don't want Trump to send the National Guard in is because if they send in the National Guard and they clean up crime, then there's no need to fund them $800 million for crime because they have beat and cleaned it all up.
I think that he honestly wants to keep the violence interruption programs funded. I think that's his top concern, keeping not-for-profits funded as opposed to actually doing the work of stopping the crime. If he stops the crime, what is the need for all of those not-for-profits that are cashing checks and paying salaries in the city for these programs?
That's basically like you telling me that you have a problem, and I'm telling you I can come in and fix the problem for you, and you telling me, nah, I don't need you to come in, just send me some money and I'll do it myself. When they've been doing that for years and nothing has changed in Chicago. And they saying that by numbers the crime is down, but if you still getting 500 murders a year, you still have a problem that needs to be fixed. And everybody saw what happened in D.C., how quick the National Guard went in there and cleaned up everything. They had a stretch of 12 days where nobody was murdered in the city. And the citizens are happy and say they feel safe walking around neighborhoods now.
And so far, they've had a total of 1,007 arrests and 111 illegal guns taken off the streets. Before this morning's fatal shooting, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., Judge Jeanine Pirro, was also celebrating those in nearly 2 weeks of no murders in the district.
But when he's trying to do the same thing for Chicago, they're saying that it's unconstitutional and he's trying to invade their city and different things like that. But just a year ago when they had the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, they had the National Guard in the city. And it was okay for the National Guard to come into their city and go into different neighborhoods. They didn't say they was invading the city then.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker confirmed today that he's called up about 250 members of the Illinois National Guard to be on standby during the convention, many of them already here at Chicago Police Headquarters.
We have 13,000 National Guard in the state of Illinois, and very proud of those National Guardsmen, and we do call them up when we really need them.
Governor J.B. Pritzker today confirming a tip to Fox 32 that some 250 Illinois National Guard troops have been activated to assist Chicago police. Many of those guardsmen are being billeted at police headquarters at 35th and Michigan, and we saw some standing outside the building earlier today. Photos obtained by Fox 32 also show the Guard inside police headquarters.
So it's okay to bring the National Guard in to keep y'all safe and protected at the Democratic National Convention, but it's not okay for them to come in and keep the people of the neighborhood safe. If you're a law-abiding citizen and you work every day and you're doing everything you're supposed to do, then why would you be worried about the National Guard coming in anyway? They're not there to mess with you. They're there to clean up crime. The governor of Illinois made a video downtown Chicago walking on the lake saying how safe it was in the city.
Well, here I am on the path on the lakefront at 6 a.m. on a Monday. And we got a lot of people running, having a great time. It doesn't feel like a hellhole here. In fact, everybody's having a great time and enjoying themselves. So I don't know who in Washington thinks that Chicago is some sort of hellhole, but you may need to look inward.
When everybody already know that it's not bad like that downtown. Go to the south side and make the same type of video. Go to the west side and make the same type of video. How is it safe in the city when you have over 20 people being shot almost every weekend? Multiple deaths. This past Labor Day weekend, you had over 50 people shot in Chicago, and 8 of them ended up dying, the youngest being a 14-year-old.
Since Friday night, 54 people have been shot, 7 people killed, the youngest victim just 14. Sadly, shootings are up from last year's Labor Day when 42 people were shot, 10 people were killed, according to the Sun-Times.
Police are investigating dozens of shootings, including 2 mass incidents over the holiday weekend. This one injured 5 people early Monday morning near 35th and Cottage Grove on the city's south side. Among the victims, a 17-year-old boy. Police also responded to another mass shooting on Saturday night just blocks away from Chicago Police headquarters. At least 7 people were shot in a drive-by near 35th and State. That same night, a 17-year-old girl was hit by a stray bullet in her Inglewood home.
Just the other day, a 31-year-old woman was shot and killed after dropping her son off at school, right outside the school.
A woman is dead, another behind bars after shooting Chicago's South Loop this morning.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli joins us live with more on this shooting near a school. Courtney.
Good evening to you both. Grieving family members and friends of the 31-year-old victim tell me she had just dropped her son off at school this morning when she was shot and killed. Now the woman who allegedly pulled the trigger is in police custody tonight. Not long after the bell rang at this elementary school Monday morning, gunshots rang out nearby, leaving a young boy without his mom. Police say the 31-year-old victim, whose name has not yet been released, was near Cermak and State just after 9. Early information leads investigators to believe some sort of a fight unfolded and the suspect pulled out a gun, shooting the victim in the face. The victim was rushed to Stroger Hospital while the suspect was cuffed at the scene.
And if that's not enough, a 76-year-old man was beaten to death that same night at a bus stop. Then the suspect in that crime went to a McDonald's and carjacked a 60-year-old grandmother at gunpoint while her grandkids was in the car.
Surveillance video from the scene shows 2 people standing at a bus stop near 95th and Halsted. You see the 76-year-old victim hit the suspect, but there's no audio, and it's unclear what led up to that point. The man then punches the victim and shoves him to the ground. We pause the video here because it's too disturbing, but the suspect goes on to beat and kick the victim multiple times before eventually walking away. Chicago police responded to the area around 9:15 last night.
Battery just occurred 9500 South Halsted at the McDonald's. For a battery victim that was attacked, not moving.
The 76-year-old man was taken to the hospital and later died. According to a police report obtained by the ABC7i team, that same suspect then carjacked a 60-year-old grandmother while she was inside a nearby McDonald's. The woman says the man got inside her SUV where her grandchildren were in the backseat and threatened to shoot them. According to the police report, the man took off in the stolen vehicle.
Hey squad, we have a bona fide carjacking. Thunder's wearing a tie-dye green sweatshirt, black pants, approximately 30 years of age.
These Democratic mayors and governors, they don't want crime to stop in these cities because they're getting federal funding for the crime. And they don't live in none of the crime-ridden neighborhoods, so they don't care that it's happening. They just want to keep getting funding for these programs so they can use the money how they want to use it. Like I said earlier, if you know you can go right in and fix the problem, why would you want to keep sending people money for that same problem and the problem is never going away? That's just like if your mother called you and said, I need $100 so I can pay this guy to mow my lawn. And you got a lawnmower in your garage and you tell her, well, Mom, don't worry about it. I'm gonna come over in the morning, I'll cut your grass for you myself. She's gonna more than likely be like, thank you, I appreciate it. unless she needed the money for something else. And that's all that's going on right here. There's plenty of citizens that's tired of waking up every day having to deal with the same crime, the same homicides, the same carjackings, and everything that's been going on for way too long. And they actually want the National Guard to come in.
We're still dealing with the violence every single day in the city of Chicago. It's something that we definitely need to do something about. The polls are showing that people in Chicago are favoring the National Guard coming in, and we don't believe it's a permanent solution. We know it's a temporary solution, but we need to get a hold of the crime. We need to calm down the violence so that organizations like ours and other non-for-profits can do the work that needs to be done. But we definitely need to bring in the National Guard without a doubt.
My son went outside. The boys pulled up right behind our house. They shot him down in the alley. I mean, I was home. His brother was home. We found my son literally on the ground in the alley taking his last breath.
You got people still robbing, stealing, killing. Just the other day, a 5-year-old boy got killed, shot in the head. It's like it's never gonna end. So if Mr. Trump want to bring these troops to Chicago, hey, bring them on. What we got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Put some fear in, let them know that they here and they want, to protect the city of Chicago. We got elderly people afraid to ride the red line. You got kids can't go outside and play. You got women don't want to walk at night alone. The migrants came here, babe, they had everything in the whole wide world they wanted.
The only people that should be worried about the National Guard coming in is people that's committing crimes, people that's selling drugs, gangbangers that's posted on the corner with guns on them, getting into shootouts with other gangs. Like I said earlier, if you're a law-abiding citizen, why would you even be worried about it? They're not gonna bother you if you're just getting up going to work every day, taking your kids to school, living a normal life. Right now, the Chicago Police Department is understaffed about 3,000 officers.
Right now, Chicago is down, I think, about 3,000 officers. Why are we down 3,000 officers with crime at the same amount? There was the same amount of homicides this year as in 2018.
Well, it's a shot.
Crime is not down.
The mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, was asked if he felt 5,000 more officers on the streets would help bring down crime. Now that's an easy yes or no answer that anybody knows the answer to it is yes. Because even if the police is just riding by, the presence of the police being there will make people think twice before doing a crime. And he couldn't even answer that question, which like I said was a simple yes or no question, because they don't want the crime to go down. And they don't care because it's not happening in their neighborhood or nowhere near where they live.
Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that
that's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. if you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer.
These Democratic mayors and governors don't want the crime to stop because they're making money off of it. If the crime stops, the money they get to fund all these crime-fighting programs stop. And they don't want that to happen. So they can continue to mismanage the money and spend it however they want to spend it. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments. I'm out.